I guess maybe everything did start with a big bang. My name is Dale, and you're watching Quickened by the Spirit, Spoken into Motion. I'm going to do a weekly podcast. Each episode is going to be about 5 to 10 minutes long, so it won't take up very much of your time. And I'm going to talk about subjects of faith, morality, proper behavior, current events, things like that. And a lot of the time, my perspectives are very similar to everyone else's, but there are times when my perspective diverges from the path a little bit. And an example would be the debate between whether the Bible should be taken literally or not. And there are many people who say, hey, you cannot believe those stories are literal. If you do, you're delusional. And if they're only stories, then the Bible cannot be taken seriously. And yet many of those same people insist on taking the creation narrative literally. They say the Bible says that God created everything in 6 days. And science has proven that's not possible. Everything started 13 billion years ago. And frankly, I think science is probably correct. But I also think that until God needed to explain creation to mankind, God had no reason to have segments of time and eternity. But when God wanted to explain creation to mankind, God used terms that mankind could understand. And the easiest term was a day. So God said, I did this on day 1, I did this on day 2, I did this on day 3, and so on. So those are the kinds of things that I'll talk about and the kinds of perspectives that I have. Now, whether they're literal or not, that's a question that I'll talk about in a later podcast. But I will tell you that if I had a friend who came to me and said, hey, I went on a fishing trip and I fell off the boat and I was swallowed by a whale and survived in the belly of that whale 3 days, and then that whale spit me up and here I am, I would not believe that person. But at the same time, I want to make it clear that I believe if God wanted those things to happen, then God could make those things happen. A God who could create everything could easily cause those miracles to occur. Anyway, those are my thoughts. But the real reason I'm here today is to talk about how I named Quickened by the Spirit, Spoken into Motion. A few years ago, I made a promise to God that I would be a messenger. And then I promptly forgot the promise. And a few days ago, I was reading the Bible, and the passage from 1 Peter, I think it was chapter 3, Peter said, Jesus was killed in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. And for some reason, that phrase, quickened by the Spirit, reminded me of my promise. So I figured, hey, Quickened by the Spirit would be a good title for the podcast. But I also wanted to pay tribute to one of my favorite songs, which is by Addison Road, and it's called What Do I Know of Holy? And there's a line in that song that goes, what do I know of you who spoke me into motion? And I thought, who spoke me into motion? That goes right along with me being reminded of my promise and quickened by the Spirit. So the podcast became Quickened by the Spirit, Spoken into Motion. And like I said, it's going to be a weekly podcast, maybe 5 or 10 minutes long each episode. And I hope you join me. It's going to be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and also I'm going to put them on my YouTube channel. And that YouTube channel will probably be the way we can interact if you want to, at least in the beginning, until I get used to doing podcasts and figure out how to maybe have guests, maybe interact live. But in the meantime, I hope you join me on a regular basis. And again, my name is Dale, and the name of the podcast is Quickened by the Spirit, Spoken into Motion. I thank you very much.